Oh, I hate those stupid leaf blowers. Come home and I have to listen to that nonsense. Well, anyway, the rain stopped, and it looks like I'm going to have to pull this window out of the van because water is seeping in through here. I guess it just this material they put in there is dried out, so pretty soon I'll pull this out. While I'm at it, I'm going to get rid of this ugly tinting that somebody put on there. It gets, look at how all kind of warped, and it's just garbage. So we're going to take this out and fix it. This one doesn't leak because I think part of it is that the gasket that it has is a rubber gasket, and since the window opens, there's probably less of a chance of it leaking. But anyway, when I was driving the van, I was out on the road, and all of a sudden it started feeling kind of warm in here now. As you know, I fixed the air conditioning in this thing, but for some reason it stopped working. And what happened was the rear unit back here, something went wrong and it stopped blowing cold air. So only the cold air was coming out of the front. Well, the next time I started the van, this is what happened. No cold air at all. We'll go ahead and start this up. Nothing. Now, if you ever get to the point where you have no air conditioning in one of these vans, you want to check and see what's going on. Let's check the compressor. It's about 86 degrees. And the compressor will stop moving. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down for noise and safety. Turn the engine off. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put the ignition on, and I'm going to leave the compressor clutch connected. I'm going to start by wiggling the wire. Might be a loose connection. If I hear a click, I know that's the problem. Yep, it popped out. Ah, see, there you go. Something is wrong, even though this is a new compressor and I put a new connector on this when I fixed the van. Something is wrong with this connection. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. I think the wires are pushing out. Look at that. I think that's what happened. So something's gone wrong with the connector. I have to push down on that. Okay, yep. I guess it's on now. Let me start it up, but before I do that, I'm going to take a look at these gauges. As you can see, this seems a little higher. Temperature is about 85, so pressure should be less than 90. Seems like it's a bit higher, so that's one symptom. Let's get this thing fired up again. Okay. So my first step is going to be figure out what's going on with that connector. What I'm thinking is that maybe the wires inside keep popping up. And again, this is a brand new connector that I put last month when I fixed the electrical. So whatever's causing this, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out and see what I can do about it. And I'll let you know what happens. Well, it looks like the new connector that I got from Napa is somehow pulled out of the housing. So what I'm going to do is check this out. Maybe this little tab needs to be bent out a little bit. Plug it back in the housing. Plug it back in. And hopefully that'll fix it because I got a brand new connector and a brand new compressor. So a little adjustment, and I have a feeling this part will be fixed. The next thing we're going to do is check the pressure. All right, so I went ahead, I fixed the connector, and now I put the ignition on, and I turn this here. Compressor is now engaging. So we're going to fire this up, and we'll hit the AC. Okay, I feel it's getting cool. That's a good sign. Compressor is running. Okay. Now notice over here, this is the low side gauge. High side gauge. Low side is about over 40. High side over 150. So we're in a pretty good range. Also notice we're starting to get condensation. This is getting cold. So that's a good sign. Alright. Now, that being said, oh yeah, it's nice and comfortable in here, feeling good, but there's a problem. So we're going to turn on the rear, and the rear AC is not blowing any cold air. I went ahead and I removed the little tube back here. Now you see all this water here? That's from that leaky window. Air flows out of here. I took out this tube. This is what actually moves the air up to the top of the there. So we'll go ahead and stick that back in. Okay. Now this goes up to the top, and it comes out of these vents. Now, the air is blowing out, but it's blowing out hot. So what's happened is that somehow down here, the evaporator is either clogged or the expansion valve is no good. So I went ahead and I ordered a new one. Now again, when I go to the front of the van, it's nice and cool. So the problem is pretty straightforward. We know the system doesn't leak because the refrigerant is not coming out, at least that we can see. Up front, it's nice and cold, it's comfortable. So that's a good sign right there. But for some reason, that old evaporator decided to fail. So again, the package should be here on Thursday. I'm not sure exactly if it will be. That's what the estimated time is. And it won't take me more than maybe an hour to change that. Because what I'm going to do is, using my Robinair recovery unit, I'm going to pull all the refrigerant out of the system, measure any oil that came out, inject in any oil that did come out to replace it, and then I'll go ahead and recharge the system, and hopefully it'll be working. But at least for now, I kind of solved the mystery of why the air conditioning completely went out. But it's pretty good. Now, on the air conditioning gauges with R12, and basically for 134, the temperature of the air should be pretty close to the pressure in PSI. So if it's 85 degrees outside, that should have been the static pressure. Now the static pressure was a little higher than that. It was over 90. And that kind of tells me the system may be overcharged. However, I was very careful when I charged it. Shut this off. On the front of the van, they have this label. And this label over here tells you how much R134A it needs to charge. It is right there, see? It's about 4 pounds. Come on. And by the way, you can see this is definitely getting condensation, so we know that it works. And the gauge pressure is equalizing. See, it's gone back down. It's about 100, which isn't too bad. See over here, This one's going up and that one's going down. So other than that, the system's working fine. It's just that rear evaporator for some reason isn't working. And when the rear evaporator doesn't work, what ends up happening is that it makes the system act like it's overcharged. So what I would have to do is remove some of the refrigerant to get the pressure down low. Now you want the low side somewhere between 30 and 50, but it's around 40, which is okay. But because the van is so large and it's designed to run on 2 evaporators, even though the temperature at the evaporator up front may be nice and cool, the one in the back, all that heat, and this thing is basically an oven on wheels. And think about it, it's like a solar cooker. It's got this glass, it's got that metal roof that's kind of dark, getting hot. So now what I did a little touch up, not the greatest job. I got some cheap spray paint and sanded it a little bit. I didn't get all of it, but I got some of it. This side's all dented up, but I went ahead and just kind of painted over it. From a distance, it doesn't look too bad. Tar paper's still up there. But yeah, hopefully by Thursday, I'll be able to get what I need to fix this. Now also, as you know, I couldn't get the correct fitting, so I just used a Schrader valve off an air conditioner, a junk one. And I actually made this adapter using this fitting that was on an old recovery unit and a hose, and I crimped this little piece on it. This is the other end of a hose that was damaged, and I can screw that in here and then connect it to the Robinair. But when I use the regular gauges, they come with these couplers. I don't know, I had both of the couplers here somewhere. Guess I must have knocked it over. But anyway, there's these quick couplers that go onto the vehicle, and then the hose screws onto the quick coupler. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe I left it in the house. Anyway, so again, it's going to take a little bit of doing, but I'll get this fixed as soon as I get the part. And yes, it's actually quite simple to diagnose these things. Seems like the pressure has returned to normal. And again, it's it's like 95 or whatever it is. So it's a little high, because it should be more like 86. So yeah, it's a little bit overcharged, but that's okay, because again, once I fix the system, I'll go ahead and put the recommended amount back in, and then that'll be it. So I'll keep you informed as to what's going on. I'll talk to you later.